This is a public service announcement. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are for comedy purposes only and should not be taken seriously. The Never a Straight Answer podcast advised that the information covered in the show should not be used for educational purposes, nor as a guide for carrying out such crimes linked to the subject matter of the episode, no matter how fucking awesome it is. Gaz and Taylor do not take responsibility for the following: UFO encounters or possible linked abductions, committing or being a victim of serial murder, falling down conspiracy rabbit holes, fits of psychotic rage, anger or confusion, or going postal on friends, family or co-workers. The boys advise the use of THC or edibles when subjected to the Never a Straight Answer podcast. We hope you enjoy the show. It was about last Tuesday, and then all of a sudden, like, he was on it, wasn't he? Anyway, hello and welcome to an episode of Never a Straight Answer, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host, Gaz, and joined in the studio today, as always, is the tissue paper Taylor.
Do you want to buy some bog roll? 10 in a roll.
Hey, welcome to the show. Oh my days, that's a bit fucking. Hey, audience. Whoa.
They're going. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Was you expecting that?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel really melancholy. What's going on?
You got corona?
Nah, I'm good, man. Good. I know, it's a bit. Do you know what? Right, it's a bit kind of daunting, all this isolation stuff, though, and I know a lot of people are there's a lot of people struggling with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do you know? Imagine being all right. Then think about it this way. Yeah, if you're, say, claustrophobic or something, do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're being told you got to stay in. It's like, oh, mate, you've got the luxury of being able to go out for a walk, I suppose, at the moment.
That's true, but think of it the opposite way.
What do you mean?
If you hate the outside, you're all right, aren't you?
Yeah, you're sweet.
Like everyone else.
If you're a recluse or a hermit or something, yeah, you're kind of kicking back, going, yeah, standard, mate. Yeah. To be honest, it's like I do spend a bit of time on my own. I don't mind my own company. Yeah. I don't mind saying, when it's like, so it's not too bad. But I've had a few moments where I thought, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone for weeks.
Yeah, that's what I mean, innit? So it's like, at the moment, obviously, with everything that's going on, it's there's a lot of kind of countries on lockdown already. UK's probably going to be going down them roads. I can probably say. Yeah. I can't say, but I can probably assume.
I think it's definitely going to happen, but it depends if it's going to be a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Well, that's the big difference.
We're going to try and keep, going as far as, like, we're going to try and get bits and pieces out when we can. Yeah. But it's obviously going to prove difficult. Yeah. One thing is we're going to be losing the kit.
Yes.
In a couple of, unfortunately. Yeah. The kind of sponsors, so to speak, have kind of requested it back.
Yes.
So, unfortunately.
Times are getting hard for everyone.
I know, yeah. So, it's like we won't be able to put out not as much, but like, we're not going to be able to put out our regular weekly episode. Yeah. At the moment, we're going to try and get some stuff out as best we can. Yeah. And I'm coming up with some ideas. Yeah. Between us, we've been talking, and we've come up with a few ideas that might be able to we might be able to pull off. Yeah. So
watch that space.
Just keep an eye on the Twitter feed and stuff. Yeah. And you'll get an update from us. Yeah. You'll hear when we're going to post stuff anyway. So we'll try our best. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And while we're away, go back to our back catalogue.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm going to be doing as well. I'm going to be posting flashback episodes on the Twitter weekly. So, we'll kind of look at those and see. We'll post some of our best episodes. Yeah. So we'll keep you entertained. We'll try to. We will. We're going to also be putting out some stuff on YouTube as well, I think.
Yes, we will.
So, we'll look forward to that.
Yeah. Just a little quiet, I suppose, a little break for you, but... Not for us,
but just think of it this way. Yeah, there's been a lot of podcasts in the same situation. Yeah. Me and Taylor don't live relatively close to each other. No. It's going to be difficult, right? Plus that coupled with the fact that we haven't got all the equipment we need.
Yeah.
It's going to be a couple
so it's double
bit down the line. We'll get sorted out. Do you know what I mean?
We ain't going nowhere. It's just for a little short time. We're just working things out.
As EJ put it the other day, it's a bubble in the wallpaper.
Yeah.
Hey.
Good analogy.
It is. Yeah. And it's going to take us a while, but we'll get those creases ironed out.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Yeah. Well, like I say, welcome to new listeners.
Yes.
And welcome to repeat offenders.
Yes.
You're always
keep repeating.
Always welcome.
Definitely.
We've got a really good show tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be like saying that, we only just started deciding we wanted guests on.
Yes.
Yeah. And now look what happens.
Yeah.
Well, tonight we've got a guest. Yeah. We've got an interview with the host of the Anthill podcast.
Yeah.
Who's doing a series on conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And we have a great conversation with her.
Yes.
She actually works for the Conversation website.
She does.
Conversation.co.uk or .com, depending where you are in the world. They're a website organisation who kind of utilise researchers and academics. For research, basically. Yeah, they do their own research.
Give information out that people would like to know.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll put a link in the description anyway. But later on, we've got an interview with Annabel Bligh. From the Anthill podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
It is.
Definitely. Really good interview. Well, I felt it was.
Yeah.
But I say, I'm not exactly Jeremy Paxman.
No.
You know what I mean?
You might look a bit like him, but no.
Yeah, dickhead. But we've still got quite a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
I think. We've got a listener I was chatting to last week.
Oh, right.
Asked if they could kind of be involved in the What's Fucked Up Where You're From.
Yeah.
Segment.
Yeah.
I was like, of course you can be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We always love. If obviously we're not going anywhere to that extent, so if you wanted to get involved, send us your What's Fucked Up Where You're From.
Yeah, you can still send us info.
You can still send us stuff in.
Yeah.
We'll still respond. We'll still be on the kind of the social media side.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally get involved. Well, this listener's asked if he could be anonymous, but he's from Stoke-on-Trent.
Right.
So this week we're going to be looking at what's fucked up where you're from in Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
Boom. Stoke-on-Trent.
There's a lot of fucked up stuff there, then.
There's a lot of fucked up stuff, but surprisingly not much going on.
Right, okay.
To the point where the website starts kind of pulling from other areas around it. Going,
right.
Just a stone's throw from, or easily accessible by.
Yeah.
You know, you get these sort of these phrases creeping in, like, like...
just come through and... visit us.
It's just easy, just 5 minutes away from,
the airport.
I don't know if Stoke's... That's one thing I didn't check into. Has Stoke got an airport?
I don't think
it has.
No,
I would be very surprised.
Well, it might have. No.
I've never seen Stoke Airport.
No.
But,
no. Might be a little one.
We've kind of looked into it, and there's quite a lot of kind of stuff going on in Stoke that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
When you put it all together on the map, it's what's fucked up in the UK, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Well, not even the UK; it's the world, because we've covered a few international places
the world
as well.
Definitely fucked up, especially right now.
There's a vampire story.
A vampire? We have a vampire in Stoke?
In Stoke-on-Trent, yeah.
Oh.
So this it's the villas of Stoke-on-Trent. And basically, in 1973, there was a Polish immigrant who was found dead in the bed, and apparently they suffered from a vampire attack.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so apparently it's swooned into the room, and did a bit of
biting,
murdering.
Yeah, bit of lunch.
Yeah. So what's this then? So they basically used salt and garlic, to try and ward off any other vampires or people coming back in.
Yeah. It must have worked. If he was the only one who was bit, I would imagine it must have worked. You know the answer to vampires now, then.
Yeah. So
clear evidence.
Well, basically, like I say, strewn the room with salt and garlic, but then a post-mortem. examination shown he'd choked to death on a pickled onion.
What?
So that's what's actually happened.
On a pickled onion?
Yeah, so basically they said it was a vampire attack, but...
how the fuck did they think it was a vampire attack? There must have been some kind of markings or some kind of...
propaganda, man, isn't it? It's like if there's a vampire attack, they don't really want people getting scared that there's a vampire on the loose.
Hey, that's
what
true,
would you rather believe?
Yeah?
It was a pickled onion attack.
Oh,
it was Pickle Rick!
Well, they did do one about tomatoes.
That's true, actually, yeah.
Tomato attacks again.
Also, Molly Lee.
Oh,
Molly Lee in 1685 to 1776 was an English woman who was accused of witchcraft.
Ooh.
But she died before being tried, and her grave was disrupted following claims that she was haunting the town. In the 20th century, they claimed that the witch was keeping crows named Mr. Hotfoot Jackson around with her. What?
Mr.
Hotfoot Jackson.
What the fuck?
That was a crow. Is that right?
Oh, is that just one crow?
Yeah, she kept a crow called Mr. Hotfoot Jackson.
The fuck? Yeah. Definitely
she was definitely a witch.
Yeah, definitely needed sorting out. I don't know if
bill, if you've got a 100-year-old lady roaming around doing mad shit,
talking to fucking crows
and calling them Hotfoot Jackson.
Yeah, giving it a full.
That's a great name. Yeah. It's very creative.
But then again, you do have people who have crows and like bats or other kind of animals that I suppose they name in that.
Yeah, well, apparently, there's a guy here, a Reverend Spencer, who claimed that he had a blackbird sent to him.
A blackbird?
And it was a sort of a sign of some description.
What, bad, good sign?
Must have been a bad sign. He's accusing him of witchcraft, innit?
Ah.
So, they've also got quite a lot of haunted areas in Stoke-on-Trent.
Right,
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
There's the... is it Corbimere Abbey?
Right.
In 1891 it was built.
Yeah.
One of the most famous ghost photographs was ever captured there in their library.
Oh.
And Hack Green Nuclear Bunker, where several apparitions have been seen there. Basically people who were thought to have been old workers at the foundry place. So yeah, it's quite a lot of ghost stuff going on.
Yeah, it seems to be quite everywhere.
And it's that sort of kind of like prolific. They've actually got their own paranormal society.
Oh, right.
Which is called Spit.
Spit?
Yeah. If you want to go to the website, it's www.spit.co.uk. And that stands for the Staffordshire Paranormal Investigating Team. You can find them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Don't know if they're doing much, but they've got a 5 out of 5 rating on Facebook based on 2 people.
Right.
So there you go.
They must be doing something, right?
Yeah. Well, it shows up on the most haunted website.
Oh, right.
Pretty much.
Pretty high.
Yeah. I mean, there's quite a lot of buildings. The Gladstone Pottery Museum, the Old Hall Hotel.
Whoa.
The Four Crossings Inn, Canuck Chase, the Lion and Swan, all haunted buildings by all accounts.
Jesus, a lot of haunting.
So, a lot of mad stuff going on in Stoke. But like I say, when it comes to like the website, what's going on in Stoke, it's basically like... easy. You can get to Alton Towers via Stoke.
Because when you were looking it over, you were saying Alton Towers is in Stoke, and I'm like, you what?
No, I thought it wasn't. I thought you go through Stoke.
To you. Yeah.
But when you're putting it on your tourist information, like it's things to do in Stoke-on-Trent, and it's directing you to everywhere, but do you know what I mean?
It's like,
but all of everything's in quotations, like a stone's throw from Stoke-on-Trent. London, 10 minutes. Yeah. It's like, come on, you're lying to me now.
I know. Well, it's marketing, isn't it? It's marketing, isn't it?
What's going on?
Whoa. Oh, I don't know. Hey, Corona.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
I can't even turn it off. There you go. That was totally
haunting.
inappropriate.
That's all that haunting you've been talking about.
That
the
was
haunting
totally
us now.
inappropriate.
Yeah, it's totally down
inappropriate haunting.
Was.
So anyway, yeah. So that's there you go.
I can't get out of my fucking head now.
That's what's fucked up in Stoke-on-Trent this week.
Hi, Corona.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So like I say, we've got a pretty interesting topic this week.
We are.
Like I say, we're going to be talking about the psychology of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Why people are interested in them.
Yeah.
The links between conspiracy theories and like kind of social impact.
Yeah.
And I think we discussed kind of like how conspiracy theories have been used in propaganda. Is really interesting. I mean, like I say, you want to go over and check out the podcast on the Anthill.
Yeah.
But
because she's got a series going off, hasn't she?
Yeah. Well, she's got a 5-part series all based on conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And I think she was telling us that when she kind of started this up, she ended up just chatting with some professors who've been doing like a 4-year research project on
this
conspiracy
subject.
theories.
Yeah.
So these guys were doing full research. I mean, talking like deep dive research. They were speaking to the people. They were interviewing everybody.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a case of like it was secondhand news off YouTube.
Yeah, they were going into the science.
Yeah.
They were trying to find all the answers and all the back doors so they could get a proper, decent picture.
Yeah, so exactly. So this 5-part series, it's it's almost kind of like snippets from these experts, from the interviews with these guys who, basically break it down, what they think conspiracy theories are about. And she explains all this anyway in the clip.
Yeah,
so,
really well as well.
I think, I think it's a good topic. I think why people kind of are drawn to it.
There's more and more people. And more people not trusting the information that they're getting, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. Well, we've got Annabel in the studio.
We have.
And we'll be getting to her just in a moment.
Yeah.
So what's the best conspiracy theory you think, Taylor? What's the best conspiracy theory that you think is legit now at the moment?
At the moment, I don't know if you could call it legit or not, but there's a lot of stuff around this virus, the corona virus. There's a like if you check somebody news that we was actually talking about this before about how we're going to go back and have a listen to the news.
Oh yeah, because we've covered this.
On.
Well, we were looking at kind of like the stats on our episodes.
Yeah,
and we noticed Nostradamus.
Yeah,
we did an episode on Nostradamus at the end of last year, and it's just kind of rocketed up in February, and it was like, well, is that because people are wondering if Nostradamus has covered anything that is related to it?
Yeah.
I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
But in terms of conspiracy theories at the moment, I reckon it was Greta? Yeah.
Greta started it off.
She did it because, like, she wanted the planes
well, she's
out the sky.
She's not educated, is she? Because she ain't got time in school.
She wanted the planes out the sky. She's got dolphins in the bloody fucking...
Hey, that's true.
In the rivers of Venice. Do you know what I mean? Now,
that's true.
But my issue with that is, like, spikes. I mean, it's gone down. We'll talk about this later anyway, because we've got a really I feel like there's a really good point about this, but we'll get into that a bit later on.
We will.
But yeah, moving on. I think we'll move into the main topic. Hey, so welcome. We've got in the studio today Annabel Bligh. She's the business and economy editor of The Conversation. Co-host of the podcast The Anthill, Independent Out Loud, and the series The Expert's Guide to Conspiracy. Welcome to the studio.
Welcome.
Thanks very much.
Hey, brilliant. And welcome. Thank you for coming on board. So you've got a series out at the minute, The Expert's Guide to Conspiracies. So can you tell us a bit about that?
The Conversation website, which makes the Anthill podcast, is all about giving a platform to academic experts and getting people who know tons about what's going on in the world and do really interesting research to either comment on the news, or we find like cool bits of research that they're doing and broadcast it to the general public. So the Expert Guide to Conspiracy Theories is a 5-part podcast series where I've spoken to tons of academics who spent years researching different elements of conspiracy theories. So we've got psychologists, historians, political scientists, anthropologists, all sorts of philosophers, you name it.
All right, brilliant. So, I mean, you, in terms of kind of speaking to the experts, you've definitely had that. I mean, a lot of people who are interested in conspiracy theories generally get their information from, internet sources like Reddit and YouTube. It's kind of, it's refreshing to kind of have somebody who's, actually kind of been who've had the research notes, been able to kind of look through the legitimate documents and say, what's your stance on it? What do you think? I mean, if you were to say conspiracies, yes or no, right now, what would you say? Or is it that too black and white?
No, I mean, well, I'd say there's maybe a slight difference to be made between conspiracies and conspiracy theories. And that's something that we explore a lot in the podcast. So there's, without a doubt, tons of conspiracies throughout history, people that work together to overthrow governments.
I think you bring up,
businesses doing bad things.
Oh, of course, yeah.
There's it's like undeniable.
I think you bring up, obviously, Guy Fawkes was obviously a conspiracy that happened. But then, obviously, you are right. There's a difference between conspiracies and conspiracy theories in terms of, so one is fact and, can be proven and has historical documentation, whereas the other one is kind of like speculation.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess when it comes to conspiracy theories, I'd say I started off doing the podcast being super skeptical of the idea of conspiracy theories, and I thought they were sort of like a fringe thing that I guess wacky people that spent way too much time going down rabbit holes on Reddit subscribe to. But actually, in doing the podcast, I've become a lot more, I guess, sympathetic in a way to the idea of conspiracy theories. But there's loads of grey areas. I mean, there's so many different conspiracy theories.
There is, aren't
we
there?
touch upon loads of them in the podcast, but it's hard. I think it's hard to really just say black and white, like all conspiracy theories are crazy or all conspiracy theories are
joined by the merits, aren't you, really?
Yeah, definitely.
Each individual one.
But I think there's a lot of stigma attached to, being if somebody can kind of be easily dismissive of somebody's by saying, "Oh, you're just being a conspiracy theorist," and by saying that, it kind of just
it's sort of like
it shoots you down, doesn't it? Because you're just basically being told you're a tinfoil hat wearing, weirdo, and you don't know what you're talking about. So
it's like society's
and actually,
go on.
No, you go, Taylor.
It's like society's a whistleblower that you just can't do. Once you get caught doing it, you're in trouble.
Same as anything, you get caught doing it, you're going to be in trouble.
But they have the rules that they can do what they want. But we have to follow another set of rules that they don't have to set.
Well, I think there's a difference between, it's like we were saying about difference between actually conspiracy and conspiracy theory. It's like, I think we're all aware that like governments, companies, and also like Annabel was saying, have done dodgy things in the past and throughout history. It's just the case of whether when things happen in the world, whether we kind of look at it and then try and find out exactly what's gone on and look at the research and properly investigate it, or just take on board the first bit of information that comes along that's packaged nicely. Do you know what I mean? A lot of this stuff is kind of presented in such a way that I'm not going to go off and check whether this information's accurate or not, because it's been presented to me in a documentary style footing on YouTube or wherever, and it comes across as believable, and before you know it, you
fell into the rabbit's hole.
You're convinced that the world's flat, and
Yeah.
God knows whatever
you
else.
started something there, you have.
So why do you think people love conspiracy theories so much? I mean, why do you think
I love it.
it's kind of grasped so much traction over the last couple of years, especially?
I think there's loads of different reasons. Like, I think one is that they're entertaining.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like, back to this whole conspiracy versus conspiracy theories thing. Like, any conspiracy is entertaining. It's got a plot with good versus evil.
Like
it kind of ticks all the boxes of like a blockbuster hit.
Yeah, like a mini-series that you've got to conclude all the little parts to it.
And you need to go out and find out as much information to try and fill the gaps. A bit like Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think there's like a lot of psychology research into how humans love to find patterns in things. Like our brains are kind of wired.
I'm really interested in pareidolia and how our brains kind of make connections. So, where you see faces and things. And I was wondering if there was kind of like an equivalent for mental connections, like when you join pieces of information like that. Whereas, and I couldn't seem to find what that might be called. So if you know, I'd love to know. But other than that,
sorry, I can't help.
No problem.
I don't know the name of that
I
one.
will have to have a look into it a bit further. But the closest I can come to it is like pareidolia, where you kind of see faces in clouds and patterns and things like that. And it is our kind of like...
we're designed to calculate, though. We're designed to try and find
It's
stuff.
kind of an instinct, really, isn't it? It goes back to sort of our instincts where... and we talked about this in a previous episode about shadow people, where when you're in the sleep paralysis and you kind of you can't move and you may trying to make sense, so your brain starts making connections, and that's why they reckon you see these figures. And I think that's the same thing. I think when you see a bit of information that resonates, then all of a sudden you start making connections and bridging those little gaps, and before you know it, it's like you're jumping out your sofa, exclaiming, who killed JFK.
It's down the road as well that you can. I've done it plenty of times where because I've been doing it for so long. I've checked out certain things. I'm like, nah, that's bull, nah, and then later on, there's one thing that's just connected to that. Oh, right,
and it's opened it
and
back
then
up
another
to
one has, and I've looked even further, and it's like, hold on, and it's even actually there's like a spider's web here. Let's have a little look.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what's kind of like something interesting you've discovered from your series that you felt, actually, do you know what, that has resonated a little bit with me?
Ooh, so episode 2 which will have just come out, is all about why people believe in conspiracy theories, and there's like lots of psychologists on it talking about how different people's brains are kind of more or less susceptible to believing in conspiracy theories. But there's also a lot about like context and how like in moments of crisis we want to find explanations for things. So I think even just right now with like everything going on with coronavirus and everything's just like, it's pretty nuts. Like, we just don't know what's going on.
Trying to find that.
People are trying. People want to know what's going on, and they try and create those answers by with available information.
Want a story. Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
There's actually a couple of conspiracies.
We want an explanation.
There's a couple of conspiracies that have already emerged from the back of the coronavirus. One that it was a Black Ops sort of government conspiracy to kind of. What is it, to kind of dwindle the population?
It helps. If you work it out, right, it's bad for the economy now, but if you work it out for the future, it could be actually great for the economy if a lot of people died. Because only on the basis of, the reason why I'm thinking it this way is only on the basis of, like, the New World Order. As they reckon that you should only have.
There's so many kind of things linked to that that suggest that what are those stones? The guide stones.
Yeah, the guide
and
stones,
the guide stones kind of appeared out of nowhere and have a base number for humanity
74,
carved into them that basically say oh,
these are the
rules.
Yeah.
If we go above these, then it's not going to work. This type of thing.
Yeah.
The other one was Russia. Obviously, with them not kind of giving out much information on the
we did it 'cause of
the
Brexit.
John Hopkins website. Seems like Russia's the only one who's not really kind of showing up any new cases, and they're kind of claiming that it's because they've jumped at the border patrol and everything. But like, obviously, the conspiracy is if that was if you were releasing something like that, you would have been ahead of the game, wouldn't you? You would have been putting those plans in action months ago.
Yeah, well, China's blaming America. Russia's blaming America as well. And I'm blaming us, and we're blaming them. So it's just a blame game at the minute, and it's...
Yeah, Donald Trump's calling it the Chinese virus.
Yes, I was going to bring that up
like
in the news.
Everyone's blaming each other, like you say.
Yeah, and it's them little...
And that speaks to... Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say that speaks to something that we explore in the series, is how conspiracy theories are often used as forms of like political propaganda.
Yeah, little mistakes in that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, well, I was going to say this because you do say in the first episode about that, and I wondered if you would elaborate on that a little bit more, because, I kind of never, I mean, I've never noticed it, but I mean, maybe I'm not looking in that respect, in terms of politicians using propaganda, using conspiracy theories to their advantage.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's been there's a number of them, man.
I mean, like a big one in Europe in recent years is this thing called Eurabia. So, in kind of more right wing, like far right political circles, it's similar to like the Great Replacement theory. I don't know if you've heard of that, which is this idea among white nationalists that there's a plot afoot to replace white people in the West.
Yeah.
And similarly, like Eurabia is this idea that a lot of right-wing or like far-right politicians in Europe talk about the spread of Muslims into Europe and how they're taking over Western culture.
Right, yeah.
And obviously, like, they are, there is a real thing going on of a refugee crisis and there's lots of Muslims fleeing the Middle East and like North Africa and coming to Europe.
Yeah.
And so they're pointing to this real thing, but then saying that there's actually some big plan. There's like a bunch of people behind the scenes pulling the strings or plotting to take over Western culture. And that's kind of what makes it a conspiracy theory and like spurs up people's insecurities and fears around immigration and...
But I sort of believe that, but in the other
culture
way.
Changing.
Well, you see, this does seem to be kind of... I mean, in terms of the, a political standpoint, I mean, you could go down the 9/11 route, and a lot of people kind of said that it was a ploy for them to go into Iraq for oil or whatever the reasons were, but it was more of an inside job. Yeah. I mean, it seems to me that once these things happen, people do kind of take the advantage or try and use it to their advantage. Yeah. But it's like at the moment, I kind of see it as like politicians will kind of use what's going on in the world as Boris Johnson at the moment. Do you think he's kind of thinking, brilliant, I will definitely go down in history now as a prime minister who was in a crisis period, who was able to kind of guide the country through, and is he kind of...
I mean, I would imagine Boris Johnson is shitting his pants right now.
I would be, to be honest. I think so. He doesn't...
yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Boris Johnson, but I guess maybe he's that arrogant that he thinks he can be... I mean, he's got this whole Churchill complex, doesn't he, going on? So maybe he does
exactly.
think...
Yeah,
I think
maybe
he's in a perfect position.
Well, I mean, the politics aside, I mean, it's like the psychology behind conspiracy theories it goes quite far back, but the term conspiracy theories is quite a recent thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's another thing in episode 1, which I thought was super interesting. That like you said earlier, the phrase conspiracy theory is now like an insult, it's like a way of shutting down an argument. But when it was first used in like the 19th century, it was literally a theory about a conspiracy.
Oh yeah, though
Like-
that's how it kind of comes across. And I mean, somebody has to have that idea and then come forward and say, I want people to pay attention to this. But that's exactly what it is. It's a theory about a conspiracy. Whereas nowadays, it's more kind of like you say, insulting to say. It's almost saying you're a crackpot, if you like, and I mean, like you say,
I think it's less this.
They're entertaining for one, and it's there's nothing wrong with keeping an open mind and keeping sharp and trying to. If there is a connection there, then that's a good thing. But
there's more people open to it now because than they have been before, which I thought was intriguing and like. I think it's a good thing that that more and more people are opening their eyes and going, hold on, what about this? Because most people basically take on terms on what you've been told or given.
Well, that's how these flat earthers see it. They say, we were only taught what we were taught in school, and other than that, we don't know.
We'll have a look at it behind the box.
We've done all this research on YouTube, and and that's another good question, actually. Do you think, like, YouTube have recently removed a lot of kind of their conspiracy content from the recommend sections on people's feeds? Do you think that might be a good move from them in terms of fake news and education purposes? Because obviously the more people and children, obviously you've got to think about like youngsters, if they're kind of exposed to these types of stories, are they kind of going to start dismissing mainstream education for this type of teaching?
Well, we don't get taught that well anyway, to be honest. We don't get taught what we need really to know. We know mathematics, but we haven't been taught how to deal with debt, how to deal with banks, how to go through the paperwork, but we've been taught the maths to it. So we always get given a little bit, but then the rest is up to you to go out there, and there's a lot of companies out there who are willing to just take your money and fob you off.
Yeah, I suppose. But...
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like whether or not it's good that YouTube takes down conspiracy theory stuff, I think I'd like to think what it focuses on taking down is the stuff that kind of strays into the territory of like
harmful
stuff that encourage harmful stuff. Yeah. So like anti-Semitic stuff, like a lot of conspiracy theories are anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Or just racist as well, and that kind of spur people onto violence.
Yeah.
So there's a reason that like people go to 4chan and 8chan or 8kun, whatever it's called now.
But I'm finding that more and more
about this stuff.
of the top end people who are at the top, like Nick Pope and people like that who actually bring conspiracy theories and ask the question, are being attacked as well. So I think it's more of trying to control them.
No, but I think this is it. There are elements of truth, and this is it. I think the truth gets lost within all the other things as well. So it's like, I was watching a documentary. I would say documentary, but I was watching an interview with I think it might have been with someone like Nick Pope, and he was basically saying, there's that much stuff on the web now that it's difficult to get your message across without coming
like
basically just kind of looking like one of the rest. And it's like, if there is people out there who want to kind of get important information out, then there's better channels to do that, but I think it's a strange one because people become these sort of like internet sort of like stars, if you like, where because people want to believe it, they'll latch on to a certain person, or they'll latch on to a somebody who's prominent in the scene, and like basically spouts it 24 hours a day. So there's a guy in the flat Earth community who's really prominent. I forgot his name now, but he's like one of the main advocates, and he does the big conference, and he's a megastar in that community. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you," I mean, it's these people who have got nothing.
Do you think he actually believes it, or do you think he's like?
If he's kind of exactly, you've got to think: are these people kind of just using these things to their advantage? This is kind of what I was getting at with Boris Johnson earlier. Are they kind of thinking, right? Well, I could put a spin on this. I could make this, a living. There's a gap in the market, if you like. So, it's one of those where you've got to be careful who you kind of put your faith in.
Yeah, but you've got a problem with that, because if you check the history of Boris, that whenever there was a big problem in the Conservative Party,
got a problem,
he was
Boris
the man to go to, because his strategies worked.
Oh, well.
And that's because he's learnt of history of Greek and other stuff. You know what I mean? So people have determined him one way, but if you have a look at him, he's actually in the perfect. We're probably in the best perfect position to be in with him being there, to be honest.
Okay, well, I'll let you.
Look into his history, man.
Okay, right. Back to topic.
Yeah.
So I was saying about YouTube videos getting taken down and stuff. I mean, but I think these are talking about education. I think there's a big sort of obviously you get parents who subscribe to these theories like flat Earth, say. Then they start kind of teaching it to their children because that's what they believe. And then when it's kind of like on the internet so freely available, I think that it kind of can be quite damaging, because straight away you go into school and just not paying attention to what your teacher's got to tell you when they show you a globe, and they're not interested. Because do you think it's kind of like going towards, say, dumbing down the future generations?
I mean, I'm skeptical as to how many people there are that actually believe in the flat Earth. I think I spoke to an academic about this, and he said, like, latest YouGov poll said that it was like 3%, like 3 in 100 Britons believe that the world is flat.
I think
which I guess is quite a lot.
We did a recent episode about flat Earth, and it wasn't very pro flat Earth, and we got a backlash.
Yeah,
off it.
Everyone who talks about it does.
We found that it was a bit more than that, to be honest. As soon as we kind of announced we were doing a flat Earth episode, we got non-stop abuse from the minute we even said we were going to do an episode on flat Earth. I think it was our biggest trend ever on Twitter.
Yeah. We might get one even bigger one, this one.
And people were attacking us before we even opened our mouths, because they assumed straight away that we were going to... Yeah, of course. And they assumed that we were going to be dismissive of it. We wouldn't have done our research correctly. And we said from the beginning, we will try our utmost to cover both sides. We don't want to be kind of pissing anyone off either way, and we want to look at it as very objectively, right? And just find out what you guys are saying and then what the science is saying, yeah? And instantly we got nothing but abuse from day dot. So I was kind of like, it was kind of exciting in one way, but then in another way I was kind of like, this could kill the podcast.
Yeah.
But then once we put it out, we didn't really get any sort of feedback, no comeback afterwards. It was more the build up to the fact that we were going to do an episode.
Very protective.
So we did get a few comments afterwards, but generally it was we didn't really have to do anything. Once the trend started, people started arguing amongst themselves.
Yeah.
So it was a very entertaining evening for me. So
yeah, it was. I remember you saying.
Do you think basically? I was thinking about this in terms of kind of health and mental health and stuff like that. Do you think that kind of these links to with kind of people who were kind of how can I put this, sort of easily sort of suggestible or kind of like easily influenced by conspiracy theories? Is there any links with sort of like paranoia or schizophrenia? Because I know that people with schizophrenia can make some pretty kind of big connections, and because obviously the brain's very complex. Do you think that that's the case?
So, from the researchers that I spoke to for the podcast, the impression that I got was that, on the whole, research, the consensus among academics used to be that people that believed in, so like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that they used to think that, the people that believed in conspiracy theories were paranoid or delusional, whereas nowadays they've kind of moved on from that, and actually because so many people, surveys show that, you know, like 50% of people believe in a conspiracy theory or are open to have sort of conspiracy theory-esque beliefs. So, you know, 50% of the population is not paranoid and delusional.
No, definitely
So it's something bigger at play going on. It's not simply the case that it's only the paranoid.
Yeah. Well, I'd agree, to be honest. I think, to be honest,
Right.
I think this is the thing as well, though, because I think most conspiracy theorists, like, kind of, I'm not sure if it's the because they're very kind of closed-minded, not all of them, and I think I'd like to think that some people I know who can claim to be conspiracy theorists would say they were open-minded. But you get a lot of closed-minded people when they have a certain belief and they're very stuck on it. So like I was saying about the flat earthers, as soon as we said, you know, we were doing an episode, they were jumped very quickly to their defence in terms of just assuming that we were going to be on the negative. Do you think? Well, personally, I think that people, these people think that they're in a bit of in the know. They've got a bit of information that nobody else does, and it's like, well, you don't know what I know, man. You know, and they're very kind of feel very privileged to know this, and you know, a bit kind of what's the word? A bit arrogant with it. Do you know? And I was thinking about
I mean that's definitely something that psychologists talk about, and there's a bunch of that in episode 2 about what psychologists call collective narcissism.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Like
That sounds interesting.
Narcissistic at a group level,
Right.
where
Okay.
they feel like, you know, people don't get them. People don't understand how great they are.
See, I did this in psychology in for one of my degree projects. It was psychology of narcissism in photographs and how people behave. Yeah, so I'm very interested in kind of narcissist. It was more about social media and stuff, how the narcissism of self-image on social media, but it's so interesting, narcissism as a topic in general. But as group narcissism goes, how would you get sucked into that? How would you even kind of?
So, what I was going to say, that the other main thing that I learned about flat earthers from doing the series. So this is going to be more in episode 4, but there's this whole thing around the element of community that conspiracy theories give people on the particularly with the internet now. So people kind of basically find their echo chamber and get, you know,
because
fully involved.
Well, that's it. It's other people who believe what they believe, or kind of who, you know, everyone else who I've told has said I was crazy, and all of a sudden this group of people are kind of agreeing with me, and it's almost like you joining a community, a family who all share the same sort of religion as you, basically. So I can totally see that. It's almost cult-like, if you like. You know, because you are kind of part of something a bit more than the norms. Everybody else is just going about their world, and if they only knew what I knew, you know, it's that sort of attitude. It's quite interesting, really, isn't it? But it's I asked this academic about it, and he was saying that with certain conspiracy theories, particularly when they relate to like the flat Earth is a good example. They start off online, but there's conferences now. There's big meetups. Like people meet up in real life, and it doesn't just stay online. It's got this kind of it's got a lot of traction though, hasn't it? And I think like I've actually watched one of their conferences just out of curiosity. I was doing the research for our episode, and it was it was bizarre because like I say, a lot of them were just so kind of arrogant about it. They were just like, if everybody knew what we knew,
like evangelical,
and they were selling their versions of what, you know, a globe or a flat Earth globe, if you like, which is obviously a paradox in itself.
Well, it works. It's the power. It works, doesn't it? It works like a religion. It works. It's bringing the people to you and making them believe what you want. It's
almost like a religion, and it kind of we've talked about this on a number of occasions where it's almost like a new age religion, because rather than putting your faith in, a spirituality or, a higher power that way, you're putting your faith into something else you can't explain, really. And it's exactly the same thing,
most people
really.
into science, I would have thought.
Well, this is it, though, because
the theory of something on it.
They don't really look into the science. That's the difference, and it always comes down to speculation and not proper research, I find.
Yeah, but science always changes as well.
Do you think that's the case? Is a lot of it just down to people just not kind of doing the homework and being merely speculative?
I feel like it can't be anything to do with the science, with something like the flat Earth beliefs. Like I don't see that. There's just so many scientists.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but they just all.
And then I don't get
what
what the agenda is. To me, the big thing is like, what's the point? Like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I think the main agenda of it is, look, you've been lied to all this time, and what they're teaching you isn't real. So therefore, what else are they lying about? And that seems to be the point. And other than that,
that's for every conspiracy theory.
Well, that is for every conspiracy theory. Yeah, exactly. That's the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? Because no matter what you think, it's rather your government's lying to you, this company's lying to you, or
consequences for
a group of other people down the street are lying to you. Yeah. At the end of the day, a conspiracy by its definition is, what is it? A group of people who plot to do something a bit dodgy, basically. So there you go. So I'm thinking of, have I got any more questions? I think with this, it's like a lot of the time people do embellish a lot as well, because like they put a lot of history behind stuff and kind of make it sound very fantastic, and like you said earlier, it's kind of like a story, isn't it? It's like they spin this great narrative. A lot of the time it's kind of like printing the legend over the truth more, just to kind of give it more spin. And when that statement, like, history is written by the winners, it's almost like that, if you like, because these stories will only get wilder and wilder as people start making more and more connections. And before you know it, because one thing I've learned from doing this show is that you do start to see connections, and we'll be talking about one episode which has got nothing to do with something else, but then we'll say something that links both of these two separate topics.
Virus that's just come out now, the amount of...
It is kind of like, ooh, when it happens, but you've got to be logical about it and go, nah, it's probably not, though.
But then it probably is. Because they like lying.
Or there could be a connection, but it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
Yeah,
like, back to that thing we were saying at the start about the human brain wanting to find patterns and stuff.
Yeah. So
like, there might be a link, but it might not necessarily mean anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It could just be random.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's an evil organisation that's behind it.
It could also bring us into finding other elements of the universe and us. It could bring people into a different direction and go, you know what? We all thought you were nuts, like you were on theories on this, that and the other, but you might be right.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's everything, to be honest. Well, thank you so much for coming into, phoning in today. Yeah. And really,
my pleasure.
Really enjoyed it, and I think the listeners will too. So thank you so much. You can go and download the Expert's Guide to Conspiracies everywhere you get your podcasts, and that's available. Episode 1's available. Is episode 2 just coming out?
Yeah, it will have just come out. But yeah, you'll need to search the Anthill.
I was just about to say
podcast directories, and then it'll come up on that feed.
Search for the Anthill, get subscribed, and you won't miss an episode. And I've already subscribed. I've subscribed through Spotify, because I've been using that a lot more lately. And but yeah, I'm interested to listen to a couple of your other series as well. Actually, the Moon Landing series sounds really interesting. I think we covered a bit of it. Obviously for the 50 year anniversary. So I'm really quite excited to have a listen to that, to be honest.
Cool. Thanks so much, guys.
No worries. Well, thank you so much. And excellent. Take care.
Take care.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
So, thank you to Annabel for joining us in the studio tonight.
Great interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, do you know what? Right, I think we should have more guests, to be honest.
I agree.
But it's so fascinating, the whole topic of the psychology of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And like we was discussing earlier, I think like whether it's group narcissism or you're being labelled as a conspiracy theorist because it's a get out clause, to just basically call you a nutter.
Yeah.
There's loads of avenues that you can go down, and I think it's such an interesting topic. I think obviously get over and check it out. It's download or subscribe to the Anthill podcast, and enjoy it.
Yeah, go and enjoy.
I think they've got about. I think they're up to episode 2 right now.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing a blog about it as well at some point in the next couple of days,
Yeah.
or if it's not up already.
Yeah,
You know how
yeah,
these
yeah,
things work.
Yeah.
So but yeah, thank you. I mean, you've got a few more bits and pieces. I mean, what is there anything that you've kind of thought of in relation to the conversation? One thing I forgot to mention to her when we were talking about how people have used conspiracy theories in a political venue.
Yeah.
One thing that dawned on me after we finished the conversation, Obama.
Yeah.
Because Obama was one of those ones where it was kind of like it was used as he's not even American.
Yeah.
He's
from
Kenya or whatever. And this whole
remember.
big conspiracy about Obama came out saying that when they introduced him to his Kenyan brother, when it's like, well, how are you from Hawaii?
Well, yeah, exactly. It was a case of I still kind of don't understand it.
But that was
remember.
that was a political campaign where they used a conspiracy to try and as propaganda, basically, to kind of besmirch the opposition.
Well, I don't know about that, because when the thing that got me was I saw it. I watched it on the TV that the sheriff did a 5-year report on
the
it,
sheriff,
and he went, "Yeah, he's not. He's basically not American, right?"
Yeah, because you've got to be an American to be president, haven't you? Is that the law?
Yeah.
I always thought that they'd change that for Arnie. Do you know, being a governor, Arnie's ready for president.
No.
Imagine I'm going
his own country, but not.
Yes, I'm
no.
going. I'm going to be president.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You
I'm
won't be
Austrian.
back, son. No, you're too old now.
What? Why?
too
No,
old.
it does not matter. Have you seen how old these candidates are for president of the United States of America?
That's
how old's
true,
Trump?
I don't know. Is it 60,
Is it who's Bernie? Is it Bernie? Who's the guy at the moment? No, the guy who's running at the moment. Sanders, is it? Bernie Sanders. I had a footnote. I don't know what the guy's called. In fact, I'm going to Google it. Let me Google it.
Bernard Matthews.
Bernard Matthews. He does make a good turkey
does make
drummer.
a chicken.
But if you can try and find any at the moment, because fucking hell.
Well, yeah, it's fucking. It's just mad at the minute. It's just absolutely crazy. But I think like there's a lot of it comes down to people not relying on the government, who are supposed to be the ones who are telling us the truth by hiding things, or like I was saying on that on the talk, that whistleblowers.
Right, you got
the amount of
Bernie Sanders. Yeah, you've got Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe Biden,
Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and a load of other nutters.
Or unknowns.
I don't even know why we brought these up. I just, when you think, I've just got to check something.
I want to know the answer.
I just need to check that. Let me Google it quick.
You got it. You got it.
Well, yeah. So go on.
So yeah, because the amount of people that whistleblowers.
Whistleblowers. I mean, this is
so
one
many
thing.
whistleblowers that have been murdered. But
so what you're saying is basically like, like we've saying, there's no such thing as. Conspiracy theories are. Conspiracy theories. It's an idea. Someone's had that idea and they thought, I need to tell somebody. Or has anybody thought of this?
Yeah. Trying to connect things together.
The thing is, no one's saying conspiracies don't happen.
No,
because they definitely do
all the time.
Now, if and we've used this term a few times, conspiracy fact. Yeah. It's not conspiracy fact then, is it? It's just conspiracy, because that's what's happened. It's not a theory anymore.
No,
so it shouldn't be able to fall under conspiracy theory.
Once you've got two pieces of evidence that could connect together, then now you've got a conspiracy.
You've just got a conspiracy. Yeah.
You haven't got anything more than that. The only
when you bring
next
up
thing
like
is the fact.
whistleblowers, now, yeah, but they can still be passing on other sensitive information.
Yeah.
That the government might not necessarily want them to be doing that.
Yeah,
So I mean, generally they're trying to find out the good stuff like UFOs and all this kind of who shot who and assassinations
covering up criminal
and stuff.
actions that the country does under the name.
Yeah, of course, like just dodgy practices. Yeah, I understand. But
you know what I mean? CIA, you've got plenty on the CIA. You've got what they're doing to WikiLeaks leader, sticking him in prison and stuff like that, and extradition. And it's bollocks, man. And then you got Snowden, which I can sort of see on the Snowden case that, yeah, he could have gone a bit too far, and he didn't exactly go to a friendly country to America, so it was like a double backstab.
Yeah,
in that case. But then again,
well, this
if
is
he
the
didn't
thing,
say
isn't
anything,
it?
we already knew about that. But the fact that he come out and said it, and the fact that he had evidence to support it, and support that it went further than we thought it went, was like, bang! It was a slap in the face of America, basically.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, it's like I think most of the time there's always, some sort of there's always an element of truth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's something totally inconsequential or if it's something majorly important to a conspiracy, but it's got to start from somewhere. And they always say there's some truth in things, but I think a lot of the time when it's that like Hunter S. Thompson sort of quote: if you're gonna rather print the truth, what would you rather print, the truth or the legend? And it's like people embellish, and people every time that story gets told, it gets added to, and it becomes you want your story to be exciting when you tell it. So why kind of just be like, or just for the sake of it kind of progresses, or you remember it differently.
Well, yeah, true. I always put it as in. There's always a little truth in a lie, and there's always a little lie in a truth.
What I think I'm getting at is how these things escalate, how kind of extra history that maybe would have happened around about the time when these when you're going back into historical conspiracies or kind of like...
There's where the problem is.
You see, because you can kind of go, oh, well, this happened around about the same time, so can I connect it in?
Yeah,
because then it all sounds dead impressive.
Yeah.
Because it's got all this kind of, oh, right, well, fucking Francis of fucking Bacon and the Knights Templar or whatever is involved.
Yeah.
And then it also almost lends credibility. You know what I mean? So... I think it's a great, interesting sort of...
There's no accountability, though.
How do you mean?
There's no accountability. We'll look at...
You're just a conspiracy theorist.
Well, no, because
people when they've got... theorist. People
have been caught red-handed.
Yeah.
There's no... if they're rich and powerful, there is no consequences for their action. Now, if a general public got caught doing exactly the same thing, we'd probably get thrown to prison and locked away.
Pants down time.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And that's where the major problem I find is, because they're hiding stuff, what we're trying to find, which they should be really telling us anyway.
Of course, I think everyone should be held at the same...
not them.
Everyone should be kind of accountable to the same law as everyone else.
Well, they're not.
Do you know what I mean?
And until that gets changed, and especially with like the banks, nothing's going to change.
Well, Prince Andrew as well, there's fucking all types of bullshit going on there.
Well, new stories, man.
Well, have you got some news stories? We'll wait until the news, because that's coming in just a moment.
Yeah.
And here it is. It's the news. We've scoured the internet for a whole 10-15 minutes and found you the best news on the web.
Oh, not that long.
It's probably about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I needed the toilet at the time.
Captain aboard. Anyway, we've been looking around to try and find you some nice news as well as. Yeah. I mean, we're going to do an update, because it's probably going to be one of the last ones. We're going to stay away from the figures, though. And I want to do an update tonight in terms of all the good stuff that people are doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people doing a lot of good stuff.
Now, even since last week when we talked about the coronavirus, it was still kind of like it had not escalated as far as it has this week, had it?
No.
Do you know,
no.
people...
It's still on the rise, man.
It was kind of like teetering, and then as, you know, the week progressed, it just kind of snowballed, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know... but
Doubling
since
every 4
then,
or 5 days.
there's been so many sort of kind of campaigns and stuff cropping up to kind of help people.
Yeah.
Right.
Rightly so as well, man.
These are the updates I want to talk about today.
Okay.
So, firstly, I noticed it was a thing that people were using these business team meeting things to have a sing-along.
Okay.
You know, so getting into a big conference call with
Yeah.
people all around the world.
Music's good when the chips are down, man.
And they were getting into a big group sing-along, basically formed a choir online.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
And I thought that was well cool, right?
Yeah.
But since then, there's been so many other things cropping up as well.
Oh, right.
These obviously ways to stay active in isolation.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been kind of fitness videos springing up on YouTube, people doing like workouts and, you know, a lot more of it, a lot of cooking things, people sharing
cooking programs.
recipes,
Oh.
you know, like groups and stuff online. There's been Mumsnet. They've been doing a lot of kind of, you know, sharing educational tools because there's a lot of people who have got to homeschool the kids at the moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, sharing resources and helping each other out in those respects.
Yeah.
It's just been amazing.
It's good. It's good work.
What I think's even better is I love, you know, obviously in times of crisis, there's always that kind of like pull together.
Yeah.
I mean, it is in the UK. It's been like that for, you know, when the chips are down, we all kind of come together.
Yeah.
And I hope that's the same
side to side.
You know, around the world.
Yeah.
But one thing that's kind of really touched my heart over the last couple of days is like thousands of volunteers have joined an effort to help vulnerable people during the UK coronavirus crisis. So they've been issuing these like forms that they've been posting through letterboxes. Basically, you can pin it to your front door. It says, "Hello, my name is. I live low." You know, basically,
gives the information of the person who's delivering.
This is a thing you can, so you can basically post these through people's letterboxes in
say,
your area. If you need any help,
come give us a ring.
Give me a ring on this number.
Yeah,
and I will pick up your shopping. I can post some stuff for you.
Yeah.
Get you urgent supplies or just a friendly phone call.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I think when you're stuck in the house on your own, all that time, just a quick chat with someone is a good thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think old people have.
What I think, do you know what I think? A lot of what I want an appeal for telecom companies. Yeah. To if you're on a pay-as-you-go phone or whatever. And you've not got credit on your phone, lift that. You know what I mean?
Lift the ban off.
Well, yeah, just make it so you can like say you top 5 numbers that you can ring. Do you know what I mean? Like your mum, your dad, your brothers, whatever. Whoever. Do you know the people who you choose?
Yeah.
And say, in this time you can communicate with these people because obviously. There's a lot of people on pay-as-you-go services.
Yeah, that's true.
And they can't maybe get out to get credit on the phone.
That is true as well. Not a lot of people got internet.
And
either.
When you really need someone and you can't contact them, that's a tough spot.
And the old people do like the old ways.
They are like a natter.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which is fair dues. That, but will the companies do that? Hopefully they will.
Probably not, but hopefully. But like I say, thousands of Britons have joined this local Facebook group offering food and support to the elderly and vulnerable since the outbreak. So I think it's such a nice thing. So yeah, go for it. Well done. You deserve it.
Well deserved.
We don't offer these cheers out that much, but I think and do you know what? And another big shout out and a big round of applause as well.
Yeah.
To the NHS staff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
all
they totally deserve it. The emergency services and even the NHS.
Now.
What?
Even the army are involved now.
Well, we do know that's obviously going to happen at some point.
To security.
So, big shout out to everyone who works for the NHS and other medical outlets around the world, I suppose.
And even them delivery drivers and the wagon drivers that are putting bringing the food down the road.
Definitely.
to each stall. So
there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are kind of doing the bit, and like you know, especially these doctors and stuff who are kind of putting themselves at risk, and especially when the equipment's not up to much. Yeah. So I hope they're sorting that out pretty sharpish.
Yeah, they should do.
Yeah,
hopefully.
But
fingers crossed.
There's been a lot of kind of really good things going on. Like I say, there's been a lot of kind of like online children support. Yeah, for kids. You know, being out of school, and they've got, you know, parents all of a sudden have got to keep the kids entertained and stuff. Yeah. And try and, you know, keep them educated as well, because at the end of the day, they're still supposed to be learning. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, now, in the UK this week, was it yesterday? Yeah. Friday the 21st. Yeah. All schools were closed. Yeah. But it meant that there was a lot of kids who was literally their year was... No, the year was just cut short. They were just about to do their exams. Yeah. So it's like now they can't do their exams. They've all been sent home, and now they can't. And they're not going to see
a grade.
Well, they're not going to see the friends now. That's it. It's done. See ya. You know, it's not like they're going to go back. But you know how it is. You leave school, you don't get to see everybody all the time, do you?
Yeah, true. But I heard as well that they're going to get a grade by their teacher and what they've performed in their mock exams.
Oh, right, okay. So they're not exactly going to have to reset the tests.
But I don't think they're happy about that.
Well, no, because you could have crammed and tried to make it a bit better.
But now they've got time to do that.
Well, that's what I was thinking. This is a good opportunity. If you felt like you'd, slacked off in the
year...
with
a bit more work,
and you felt like you could have done with a bit more work...
Or even the parents tell them.
Take this as an opportunity now to think, right, well, you don't often get a second chance.
That's brilliant. I wish I had that advantage.
Do you know what? Yeah, basically, by year 11... I was bloody, hardly there. Yeah, right.
Oh,
so, as you can probably tell.
I was a good boy.
But when, if you had the opportunity to kind of, like, have a few more months on top of that, you'd think, actually, do you know what? I might have fucked it up here, but this is a good opportunity to get knuckling down. And
I haven't got my friends to,
distract you
or anything. Yeah, just get in your room, like, self-isolating, right? Bang.
But if you're telling me that they're all going to just get a grade anyway, then
apparently this is so. But I reckon they should go back in September. Cram it in now, go back in September, finish it off, and like get the grade that you deserve instead of, because it could actually hinder them in the long run, because it's not unnecessary. I would reckon in future people would be more you were given that grade. You didn't earn that grade, you was given it.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? So it's a case of like maybe some jealousy.
One thing that has bugged me about this thing though, it's like, do you know Idris Elba came out on Twitter or whatever, and he said, "Oh no, I've got corona." Yeah.
How do you find out, son?
Well, firstly, when Tom Hanks said he announced it, I was kind of, oh shit, Tom Hanks. But then Idris Elba
was arrested.
Idris Elba came out and said he had it, right, and he's got it. And somebody mentioned, he said, well, where did you go to get tested for it? Yeah. Because, even NHS staff are struggling to get the test.
Nurses aren't getting any tests, doctors ain't.
So, they've got to stay at home until they can be told they're safe to go back to work.
Yeah.
So,
and they're at the highest risk.
Exactly. So they can't get the tests.
No.
And then a bit of digging, and there's a doctor who was operating out of London. I'm not sure if he's still operating, but he was solidly booked up. Yeah, he was charging £395 for a test. Yeah, and obviously, if you could afford it, you could get yourself tested. But to be fair, in my opinion, they should be seized. They should be seizing any tests or any they've got
order come in now, so
they should be issued. They should be issued to the NHS, because I don't think anyone should be profiteering off this.
No,
do you know what I mean?
No, definitely not.
And it shouldn't be available to people who have got a bit of money. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It shouldn't be. No, that's basically like saying, well, if you've got a bit of cash, you're all right, because you'll survive it.
That's I suppose that's how society's been, and like. It shouldn't be that way, but we just take it on the chin, and it always happens that way.
I know.
We get fucked, and they'll be all right, and then they're going to get more fucking cash out of us because we're trying to get on the breadline. And they're
it's like we have talked about people, stockpiling and stuff. there was a couple of cases of guys. This made me laugh actually because they went to a few different towns and bought up all the supplies of hand sanitizer and toilet roll, right? But then tried to profit off it on eBay and on Amazon, right? Yeah. But then they both capped the prices on those products. Basically said you can't charge any more than this, right? So obviously they couldn't make a profit on it. It means that all these dickheads have been stuck with all this stock,
shit roll and all this. Yeah,
they can't sell for a profit. They could probably peddle it out after a while, but
Everyone
they can't use these sites to try and double the money overnight. Yeah, which they've shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, it's not the old ways that you could do that. People have cottoned on. Times have gone on from that. We all know we're getting we've got to watch where our money goes and how to spend it well. You know what I mean? We're getting cleverer on that.
Yeah, that's it, innit? I'm sure he had another point about this corona anyway, but it's all that anyone seems to be talking about at the minute.
Well, yeah. So I found out there was a thing called the Event 201.
Right.
That was done last year, funny enough.
Event 201?
Yeah.
What about what happened to all the other events before that? What were they?
I don't know.
Go on.
But this was to do with, actually, funny enough, the coronavirus. It actually spread.
Oh, I do have another story about coronavirus after this, so go for it.
And basically, the John Hopkins University decided to get a host of groups together, like the UN or Bill Gates funding, leading industrialists, the WHO. There's loads on the list. Basically, every important place for this kind of thing in the world.
Yeah,
and they did the test and they asked the companies to go away, and if this happened, what would happen where you are now? And it ended up that the result was that 65 million people would have died within 18 months. Now, thankfully, it is sort of a good news because after that, they are all getting their heads together to actually solve this.
So, okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which if you think about it, why would they do that in last year and then all of a sudden the corona's come out?
Well, I remember you telling me, that we had to. They were putting out things saying that we needed at least 7 days worth of food, and rations and stuff. This story just came up on the feed, right?
Yeah.
And has just disappeared off the feed. As fast as it arrived, it's disappeared.
Right, okay.
Now, this story interested us straight away as soon as we saw it.
Yeah.
This is actually was breaking news as we were recording.
Yeah.
And basically, it said a couple who had been on a remote rafting trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere for 25 days.
Yeah.
Have just returned with corona.
Whoa, 25. Hold on. Whoa, they must have.
But he's gone. I mean, I'm going to have to search for that after we finish recording, but that's as much information as I have on it. Because I wanted to look at the story, and when I've come back to the feed, it's disappeared.
It's disappeared, so,
but that's interesting, because I think we were mentioned if it was... does that mean it's airborne? Or does that mean it's kind of like...
When you were telling me about it, that was the first thing I thought was like, oh, don't tell me, because if that's the case, then it basically everyone will get it, and it possibly would be not just a couple of years. Depends how far it can
I don't know, though. I mean,
well,
like I
if
say,
everyone had
it could have been taken down because it's fake. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to say that that's fact because I couldn't get enough information on it. So
well, to me, that just makes it more. It makes it that little bit more worse. To be honest,
I've got a lovely story here. A brilliant story.
Lovely.
I love a good animal story, and this involves elephants.
Right.
Please let me have an elephant.
Yeah,
please.
Where are you going to shove him?
I'll clean its hutch.
No, he won't. Have you seen how much shit comes out of an elephant? Okay, now
get me a shovel.
Yeah.
Anyway, elephants have been getting drunk on wine
Good lads.
after sneaking into a farm in search of food.
Oh, that's great.
Bless them.
That's
And then
good
they all
news.
got pissed and had a kebab.
That's good.
In China, as the UK people are avoiding social situations,
yeah.
the elephants are all having a bit of an ease up.
Yes, they're going in and robbing up
As
the
a
town.
result, a group of 14 elephants who live in China, in the Yunnan province, hadn't seen any people in a while.
Yeah.
So they all just decided to wander into a farm. Used to being fed by humans, they set off in search of food. And broke into a nearby vineyard.
Oh, lovely.
And got into the corn store.
Started eating all that and getting...
Well, they drank
wasted.
30 kilograms of corn wine.
Oh, nice.
Naturally.
Oh, my days. The picture here.
I'll post it. I'll post it on the website.
Yeah, that is funny.
Basically, they were... naturally, they needed to lie down after all that.
Dave, that is funny.
The strength of the corn wine wasn't even known. In 1984, studies determined that elephants can get drunk with a blood alcohol content of 0.05 to 0.1 grams.
Whoa.
Like 100 milligrams of alcohol.
Shit, man.
So it must have been strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were pissed.
Oh, my day. That's some funny shit.
Pissed elephants just fucking ended up falling asleep in a field. Excellent.
It is brilliant, that. That's mint.
Have you got anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, good for gamers if you want to be a gamer, because they're giving loads away at the minute.
Well, yeah, because everyone's staying at home, aren't they?
Yeah, they're trying to get on the bandwagon, aren't they?
Aren't they just?
People in.
No, I think it's people. There's been a lot of emails coming through from like companies with like our response to Corona. You know,
yeah.
And it's it's good because it's like it shows kind of like the
shows when the chips are down that they're willing to entertain for free.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this is it. I mean, Netflix apparently has taken a real hit because they've had to reduce the quality of the stream because of demand.
Oh, right.
There's so many people at home just having a Netflix, watching Netflix because they've been sent home or they've got nothing to do. I can't do that working from home.
No.
I've got to work from home at the moment. And
that's true.
And it's like, I've got desk set up. I've got to do my job.
Yeah, you got to do your job.
You know what I mean? Can't be chilling watching Netflix. But you can have an episode in at brew time or break time, I suppose.
Well, yeah.
But like I say, they've lowered the quality of their service to accommodate everybody who's kind of that influx of people trying to watch it all day.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's just one of them hits that everyone has to take. I mean, don't all watch Netflix at the same time. Well, that's a suggestion. Try not to, limit yourself on Netflix.
Well, you don't want to anyway. I think you should be using your time to be a bit more productive.
Yeah, sort the house out.
Sort the house out. Yeah,
sort your gear
do those
out,
little jobs
else.
that
you've been missing. And you've been telling your missus, I do that weekend.
Promise.
Oh, the lads want me to go to the pub. I do that when I get back.
Yeah,
I'm
do
too
all that
drunk
stuff.
and go to bed, love.
And then, learn something new, pick up a hobby.
That is a good suggestion, man.
I've been trying to keep myself busy. I've joined on to Skillshare.
Yeah.
They've got a 30-day trial, so that's perfect, isn't it? Because if it only lasts 30 days, you've got 30 days. You've got 30 days of videos to watch. And then I've been trying to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
You
thought a new language?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I've never myself, actually.
I have tried to learn.
Language.
I have tried to learn the languages before, but sometimes I don't retain it.
Yeah.
It's like I remember certain words like "Donde está?" Where is the?
Bonjour.
Yeah. And other discotheque.
Discotheque. Yeah. I used to be number 16
A bibliothèque.
in German.
I was really good at German. Well, I was okay at German.
I
can't remember most.
I was about 5 or something.
I can't remember if it's Ich habe Mutter ist wunderbar in Schlafzimmer.
9-9.
That might not be right.
9-9.
What's that?
That's no.
Is it?
9's no.
9, yeah.
Yeah, 9-9. We surrender.
Großen Busen, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, there you go. That's as much German as I can remember.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I don't know.
None.
But so retaining a new language.
I think that'd be a good idea for quite a few people.
If you were on lockdown and say they said 12 weeks, right?
Yeah,
12 weeks is a good length of time
for doing
That's
it.
a good a good length of time to become.
Yeah, but you'll freak out when you walk outside your door and people are all talking different languages. You're like, what the fuck's just happened here?
Well, fucking Klingon.
Yeah, it's like,
and
whoa.
then you're like, what?
My translator ain't working.
And then, just fucking doing stuff that you enjoy, really.
Yeah. Learn how to fix a car or learn how to fix a bike or something.
Musical instrument.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff you can do.
Sing.
Like I say, I mean, like, and even try and think up something to do with your community.
Yeah.
Even if it is online,
yeah.
a group or a friends group or, just
a way of
keeping in touch with people, know. So, yeah, there's plenty of stuff you can keep yourselves occupied with.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to all be Scrabble and word searches.
And you don't have to use technology either.
How do you mean?
Well, you can read a book. You don't need to sit down and read and watch the telly. Learn off that.
Well, there you go.
Have a conversation. Sit down, put your phone down, have a conversation. We don't do that a lot these days. Yeah, because most people are on the phones going, hold on, mate. I'm just talking to my mate from Sweden. Blah blah blah.
Did you know it was UFO abduction day?
Is it?
Well, I think it was the other day. To be honest,
I knew it was Ned Dogg's died 9 years ago today.
What was that?
Ned Dogg. He died 9 years.
Dogg?
Yeah.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Soulful rapper.
Oh, right, okay. Ned Dogg.
Yeah.
I've never, no disrespect, not my cup of tea. Never came across Ned Dogg.
Oh, he had such a voice that he was recognisable as soon as he started. I loved his voice. Yeah, it was brilliant. Mint soulful, man. Yeah, but sadly he died at 41.
Oh, sadly missed.
Yeah,
sorry,
man,
mate.
Yeah, R.I.P. Yeah,
R.I.P.
Yeah,
indeed. The story, the UFO fans, you basically talk about their abduction claims on extraterrestrial abduction day.
All right. Oh, I was trying to look at this article before actually, and I bypassed it.
Well, they've basically gone out for it. Do you know what I mean? It was on the 20th of March.
Yeah.
And some people did turn up to discuss it, and they went off.
Good conversation.
I suppose he had a kind of a good turnout.
Yeah.
For him to make the news, but
the
fact that it's an international abduction day. Do you know extraterrestrial abduction day?
See, and that'll be the kind of thing I should know about.
I wonder how many people do go to these, because we have talked about how many people say
and
claim that they've been abducted. So I wonder kind of how many people, because I was surprised at how many people attended the Flat Earth thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we talked about Flat Earth earlier.
Yeah.
Quite a bit, to be honest. I mean, like, it's like one of those where it's such a weird topic that people do go to these conventions and stuff. So
just makes
I wonder how many people and who come up with the idea to have a conference or something about. Well, I suppose it's probably started off as like one of those group therapy sessions, didn't it? Where they were like, "Have you been abducted by aliens? Then come and talk to us."
No, I would have thought that, like, because there was so many abductions to so many people that, like, obviously, like, doctors have gone, well, do you know these? Do you wish to talk to him about your experience so you can get over it and stuff like that? And then, no doubt, more and more people get together, because it'd be one of them things that, like, you wouldn't want to really go out and go, oh, I was abducted, mate, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's one of them things like, you keep in a closet until the people that you
until somebody comes to you and goes, I've just had an alien abduction. He goes, so did I.
Yeah.
It's like, I've been waiting to tell you for ages, but I didn't want to come across as being a bit of a fucking weirdo.
Yeah. And then they get to talk the serious part of it, and then, my friend George, he's done the same thing, or, different people. So then you get to
I just shit Jay up.
I know, he's just woke up. Yeah, big smile on his face now, so.
I was like, fucking a bit loud there. Sorry.
Don't wake the big green giant up. No, you don't want to wake him up. Go on, you go snoring again.
So, I've got some more NASA news.
Yeah.
NASA doing bits. But NASA's astronaut, Chris Hadfield, shares tips for isolation during Corona.
Shares what?
Shares his tips.
Oh, right, okay.
For staying sane during isolation. Basically, he took care of the spaceship, and if he knows about going crazy out in space alone. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
He's a space dude. Self-isolation and self-distancing to help slow down, obviously, the spread.
Yeah.
And this astronaut's been gone on YouTube and other social media. Is it Mark Hadfield? No, it's not Mark Hadfield. That's my mate. Chris Hadfield. Big shout out to Mark Hadfield.
Yeah.
Kent. He's basically on Saturday, he posted a video called Astronaut's Guide to Self-Isolation to help those who are struggling working from home or just feeling a bit stir-crazy during the pandemic. So you can get over to YouTube and search that, An Astronaut's Guide to Self-Isolation. And Chris gives you I'm into my second week.
Yeah. Wait until you get to the end of that. You're going to be pulling your fucking
I've already
hair
had
out.
it. Don't worry, mate.
Yeah.
I already had a mini meltdown last night. Do apologise if anyone was on the end of that Twitter. So
I think we know who was on the end of that Twitter.
There's a few people, to be honest. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Take care of your friends. Take care of your spaceship.
Yeah.
Hadfield said. Hadfield isn't the only astronaut with tips on self-isolation during this difficult time. Buzz Aldrin has come out and said basically about he was lying his ass off about locking all the doors to protect himself from the virus. But, he's
playing fun and games.
Yeah, he's Buzz Aldrin. He's allowed, isn't he?
Well, yeah, to a degree.
Well, yeah, don't lie about not going to space or anything.
Yeah.
No. Have you got any NASA news?
Well, yeah, talking of space, well, you know that second interspace object that was flying through us?
You said because it was the first one, and it was the first one that has ever happened, and a stellar object.
Yeah. Well, this second one has made scientists believe that the first one was very strange, and the second one's just about to leave our solar system, and it is now breaking up for some reason. And it's getting even stranger over these objects coming in and out. So it's definitely made the first one supposed to be a bit weirder than the second one. So there's something going on there.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen this one about NASA. They've got a getaway. It's not a getaway.
The gateway.
A getaway concept.
Oh, right.
Basically, I'm not sure if it means basically it's
it's the Gateway project.
Yeah. So they've announced that the Lunar Gateway space station is probably not going to be
going ahead now.
Well, no, it's not that. It's the saying that it won't help them get boots on the moon. Basically,
well, it's a space station orbiting the moon, so you can have people and robots within there and send them to the moon, do its objective and come back. So it has an actual space base, basically. So it will be the first base before they land on the moon and have a base there. That was the idea.
Yeah, but that's what they're saying. So the chief... basically, the chief director, Douglas Lavero, told NASA Advisory Council and the Space Committee on March 13th that the agency would be easing the lunar outpost timeline.
Yeah.
So, they wouldn't be getting there any quicker. Basically, they wanted to get there by 2024.
Yeah.
And they believe that the Gateway program's probably not going to help them do that.
No, it's probably down to funding, to be honest. Down to funding and timing on actual getting the stuff ready. Because don't forget, most of this stuff is brand new.
Well, they're still going to build the Lunar Gateway, but it's just not likely to be a critical part in the overall mission.
Yeah,
to be honest. So,
well, I would have thought it would have been one of the most critical parts. If you want boots on the ground on the moon, you need either a base on the moon And it'd be even better with a base in orbit as well, because you can communicate
Well, that's probably
better
where
as
they're
well.
going. That's probably where, rather than having an orbiting station, they're probably more likely to want a base actually on the moon. Because if you send people up there, then they've still got to get back down to the surface, and that just causes so many more problems. I would imagine that if you were going to do anything and you were going to invest that much money, you just put boots on the ground straight away.
Yeah, but
and then commute from Earth to the moon.
Well, no, because
that's a commute, that isn't it?
We can do double the amount of work up there. We've got one space station there, and the gravity and everything and things are different between
so many
there.
things that
So they can
test.
do other tests there to counterbalance the tests that we're doing.
What do you
Earth.
mean on the? Well, yeah, but you could if you
could make it into a science station
on the surface. You could then utilize that to put something up in the atmosphere.
Yeah, and the space base around the moon can pass the stuff that needs to be passed along.
Walking
instead
on
of just
the moon.
Because how are you going to bring the stuff back if you're on the moon? Apart from you've got to.
Well, they've been thinking about that as well, actually, because they've been working out ways
very busy
of
on
trying
it, yeah.
to post stuff back.
Which makes me even think
Amazon Prime.
We already said that there was something wrong with this being a rush.
Oh,
it just makes think that, like, isn't there enough time to do that space station?
Saving the whole of humanity.
You know what I mean? So, well, whatever happens, we'll be here.
Well, we'll be here.
We will.
We'll try. We'll do our best for you.
Well, I don't know, because as of Saturday and Sunday, there is 4 meteorites about to pass us.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
yeah,
we've got nothing else, as if
nothing
we've not
else
got
to worry
much more
about.
to worry about.
The first one at 43 feet, second one at 56, and the third one 180, and then you got 48 feet. Longest distance is 0.5 million kilometres away, but they reckon the nearest one will be 7.13,000 kilometres away.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So that's
pretty
not too bad.
close.
It's still pretty close. It's skimmers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I forgot which button I was going to press.
Oh.
I forgot.
Like what she said.
Oh, bollocks.
You got small what?
I'll press a button. I'm just going to press a button and see what happens.
Oh, go for it.
That's the button I wanted.
That's the button you were after.
Hey, right. Well, we've got, while you're in with the contagion.
Yeah.
Right. And if you want to make a night of it, you know what I mean? And, be a bit kind of cheeky with it.
Bit naughty.
Here's the top 10 pandemic movies that are available to stream right now.
Yeah, go for it.
At number 10, Contagion. 2011 movie. It's basically got Matt Damon in it.
Matt Damon.
Yeah. Number 9, The Crazies from 1973.
Never seen it.
Never seen it?
No, never seen it.
Get more into zombie and pandemic movies. It's a George A. Romero movie. The 1995 film Outbreak.
Brilliant film. Loved it. I've got a copy of that. I've got a couple of copies, actually. Loved the film. Brilliant.
It's a monkey-related one, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. I actually liked Outbreak, but it's one of them, isn't it? It's like fucking...
I thought it had
viruses.
Yeah, I thought it had the real good power of, like, the government letting it loose and someone within in a strong position to fight back and actually get the right result in the end.
Well, it's actually based on the Richard Pearson book,
right?
The Hot Zone.
Oh, right.
The film
okay.
takes plenty of liberties.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But,
I thought it was brilliant. What was it? Dustin
Hoffman.
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, 12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys. You know what? I've got to watch that again because it's been so long since I've seen that.
Excellent movie, though, to be honest. That's probably one of my favourite movies.
I might watch that this
week. I think if anyone can play a bit of a nut job really well, it's Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And it's a good story as well. And I brought 12 Monkeys up a few weeks ago because, like, obviously it's that easy.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
That's true. Where his mind goes back in time or something.
Well, yeah. Well, basically, he's in the future, and there's been an outbreak
So he's seen the effects of what would happen.
Well, they
if
keep
certain
sending
things
him
don't
back
happen.
to try and work out what happened, because if they could work out what happened, they can
can
trace
stop it.
the track of the vibes. No, they can't stop it, but they
Oh,
can
right.
maybe bring people back to the surface a lot quicker.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So they might be able to find the cure before it
But
actually
meanwhile,
kicks
he's kind of very good at remembering things, so he's kind of
Oh,
like, or like, there's another story about the main
Watch it.
character, which
That's
is
the
Bruce
best way of
Willis.
finding out.
Great
Yeah.
film, 12 Monkeys.
off. Yeah.
The Last Man on Earth, 1964.
There's a few last.
That
Man
one's
in there.
Richard Matheson, 1954 novel. I Am Legend
Yeah, I've
was
seen
spawned
that.
basically 3 adaptations of Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, if you like the old black and white films,
Well,
you know,
it's
a good.
this one's an old one,
Yeah.
but I mean this basically was I Am Legend. It's the precursor to I Am Legend, or
Yeah.
the was done before, I suppose. But yeah, definitely a good version.
Yeah.
And It Comes in the Night, 2017 movie. I've not seen this one.
No, I haven't heard it, to be honest.
Basically, it's looks like a scary movie.
Right, go
Well,
and watch it. I might do.
The Host.
The Host, yeah, good film, yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yes, I've got it.
Again, not seen that one.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
more of an alien kind of thing.
Well, is it?
Yeah.
Is it a contagion pandemic,
Uh,
though? Because that's what they're trying to say.
No, it was more. If it's the Host I'm thinking of, it's like there's an alien inside you, and it takes control.
Oh,
of
kind
your
of
body,
like a
yeah.
body snatch.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually damage it. It just because you've got your thoughts within. But it's a weird kind of film. But yeah, go and watch it. It's an all right film, I thought.
28 days and 28 weeks later.
Oh, bound to be in.
Brilliant film,
yeah.
actually. Do you know, I love just... We were talking about this earlier about kind of seeing cities deserted, and they do a really good job of, do you know, they show a lot of the UK cities just
of
totally
how they're looking like now,
abandoned,
nearly.
looking fucking... No, a lot worse, to be fair. You know,
Well, yeah,
strewn
true.
with rubbish and litter.
Yeah,
You
blood
know,
all
but
over the
it's
sidewalk.
so kind of empty. It's a really weird sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, great films.
Yeah.
Day of the Dead, 1985.
Yeah.
That's another George A. Romero.
Yeah, I thought it was a good
classic. Absolute love. Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead.
I'm not really into zombies that much.
It's great genre.
Once you've seen one, you've seen them all. You know what I mean? That's
Well,
the way
you know,
I see it.
this is how zombie movies start, bro.
Well, this
Not
is
being
it.
funny. And
I'll
like
be the
now,
first to die
this
then.
is the other topic, other point I wanted to make earlier, right?
Yeah.
You know, fucking Trump's just or said we want to get testing on humans.
Okay.
We want to get testing going as fast as possible.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we'll just drop all the red tape bullshit. We're not going to allow, you know, you can go ahead and do your testing without having to jump through hoops.
That shows me.
That just says to me you're going to let a load of fucking nutty professors just run do what they want, basically, with chemicals and, you know, trial things on people before there's a reason why red tape exists. It's so that fucking we can determine
but
whether
it's an
something's
emergency.
super safe
It's past the
before they can do
emergency.
that. Yeah and no, but I mean, I've seen enough zombie movies to know that this is how, because all it takes is for they test the wrong thing and it's fucked somebody up, and then you never know.
I sort of agree with you there, but what's the alternative? This is an emergency, and it shows.
Oh no, I
that
agree
it
with
is
that.
an
I mean, I
emergency.
think that it's kind of
What else
it's
do we do?
definitely an emergency measure. It's never been done before.
Usually, for a bloody tablet, it takes like 10 years to go through the process.
Of course. So when it's definitely a record breaker.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of them, innit?
Definitely, because it's usually for this kind of stuff 12 to 18 months. So it's battered down the housing on that. But like, I can see where you're coming from, but there is really no alternative, and it shows that this is as serious as it gets because he's knocking down lines.
Well, there you go. I think there you go. I think, like, you know,
Which is good for us in the end if you can get it dealt with straight off.
Yeah.
Then that's another. Then that's that's worth the risk, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think so. Well, there you. I think we've covered quite a lot of Corona tonight. I think obviously with it being a kind of a bit of a break for us, I just wanted to get a bit more information out. I didn't want to go into all the hassle and the kind of numbers and stuff. I think numbers. I just want to applaud everybody who who's helping and doing the bit. Even those who are sat at home who've got it. Of course. That's you're doing your bit there just by staying home. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of shout outs, we've got shout outs to everybody who's working hard to kind of to be supportive and get out there and get out there, stay in there. But all the NHS staff, I do agree that they should have kind of like a bit more kind of help in terms of getting the food shopping in. So don't just think, elderly and vulnerable. If you know a doctor or a nurse, offer your service, mate. Just knock on, say, do you know what? Do you need me to pick you anything up?
While you're at work, I'll do this for you.
I'll go and run out to the shop for you. Do it. Honestly,
it's worth it in the end.
Also, I want a big shout out to who else am I shouting out in this field? In this area,
all the emergency services.
Basically the media as well, because this is one of those times that are doing a really good job. So well done for
the communication.
And I do agree with what Boris said earlier in the week about these video. These should be done video chat now. I think. If we're going to go on lockdown... Well, no, he had a point, isn't he? He's got a point because he's basically saying that we've got all these measures put in place and we expect the public to stay home. Yeah. So would you mind doing that while we're all going to have a get-together and do a press conference? You know what I mean? It's almost saying we're not abiding by our own rules.
Yeah, but then they're the ones who are taking the risk.
Oh, definitely. But, I mean, Boris has got a fucking, a lot on his plate. He can't be getting poorly.
Yeah, so Cabinet's been affected already as well. So it can come from anywhere.
Well, I want a big shout out to all our Patreons. Thank you for your support. Obviously we've got some kit issues. Yeah, we do appreciate all of our Patreons. Anybody who's supported us over the last 2 years coming up to. All we can say is thank you for just listening, and we'll be back.
Keep listening, because we will be back.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Big shout out to EJ for writing us some spectacular blogs this week. It's the fantastic tale of is it Magic Mike?
Yeah,
the chicken.
Check
it out. We've got another one coming in the next couple of days as well, if it's not up already. We'll be getting a lot more stuff out on the website. Yeah. So
if you're missing us, pop over there and either listen to our episodes or have a little look at the gift shop.
Like I say, I'll be posting some flashback episodes. And we'll be doing some other bits and pieces that keeps it a bit kind of keeps it us going for the time being. Yeah. So But obviously, we've got some Patreon, we've got Patreon slots open. So if you want to dive in there and help us out, that's a big help. Yeah. Also, big help. We've got a PayPal donate thing there. If anyone wants to help us out for towards the kit, it's all going back to getting us back on.
One-off payment, pay us anything you wish.
Yeah, whatever you want, quid, anything, honestly. Big shout out to Jay. Jay. For just fucking
sleeping.
Super Patreon. Swoosh,
baby,
Brookie, and Dunk, and Jesse G. Thank you for top one for all your support and help. Big shout out to our featured podcast this week, this month, which is the Nightgeist podcast, and you can check out their latest episode over on the website. Yes. You can check out. There's a link there to their page, so make sure you get over and subscribe. They're into the paranormal. They're into the ghosts and cryptids. Bit kind of like what we talk about. Yeah. So, if you like what people. And these are girls from the States, so go over and show them your support. Big shout out to Gareth. We love you, man.
Keep trucking.
Well, everyone has a good one of them fans that we feel honoured to have. And we've got two. We've got Gareth and Mr. Shirley Crabtree.
Yes, definitely Mr. Shirley Crabtree.
Thank you for all your help and support.
You did great, man.
Big shout out to the Hara Club,
Yes.
who I was going to shout out last week, but they always manage to. There's always one who always manages to respond to the tweet just a little late. So, make sure you get in early.
Yeah.
But I'll give you a shout out, the Hara Club podcast.
Yes.
Big shout out to Shawnee and Chris.
Yes, Mum and Chris.
Mikey. Big shout out to Agent Coulson. He did have an alert for everybody listening tonight. Yeah. He said, be warned, there's actually a link going round, which is very harmful. Yeah. It's a link to a live stream of Chris Martin from Coldplay doing a gig from his house in isolation.
I nearly threw up.
Do not click the link. It is, if you do, you'll be fucking heartbroken, because if you click that link, you'll be going to a live stream of Chris Martin doing a live gig in his house. Yeah. So just don't do it, guys. Do you know what I mean? It's not worth it. Don't do it to yourselves.
You'll cut your eyes out.
You're supposed to be protecting yourselves, not be fucking subjecting yourself to fucking stuff like that.
No.
So cheers, Agent Coulson, for the PSA.
In fact, he's been sending me pictures of something in the sky he's been watching for a week that's really, really bright.
And it just keeps coming back around his area.
Oh, no, it's staying there.
Like hovering?
Yeah, well, he thought it might have been a plane or something. So
could it be like a planet or like a...
Well, I believe it is Jupiter myself. Because it's very shiny. You can see it around about now. And also Mars is on the horizon. You can have a look up there and see that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Big shout out. Did a shout out for Mikey?
You did.
Big shout out to Mikey again. Big shout out to Deep in History podcast.
Yes, Deep in History.
Big shout out to Liz Reader.
Yes, Reader.
Cheers for the support. And Emily from I forgot to mention Emily. She's from the Night Guys podcast.
Yes.
Big shout out to the Grief Burrito lads. Valerie Bubbles. Cheers for your support. I hope everything's going well for you. I know she's in California at the minute, so I'm assuming she's on super duper lockdown.
Yeah, I would imagine now.
Big shout out to the Podcast HQ.
Yes.
Big shout out to the Killer Rabbit boys.
Yes, boys.
Oh, mate, I'm getting out of breath with all these shout outs. I think that's about it. Everyone in quarantine, everyone around the world. Go on.
Who we interviewed.
Oh, God, yes. See, I told you I'd forget. Thanks for that.
That's all right.
Big shout out to Annabel for joining us tonight.
Yes.
It's been a really good interview, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If you want to support us, get over to the website. You can go over to the support tab and help us out in any way you can.
Yeah.
It's all great. We're grateful for it all.
Yes, definitely.
If you want to get in touch and just drop us a line, you can drop us a line.
Yeah, you can keep in touch with us, because
get in touch.
We will be back
at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. Also, you can just send us a message via the website. Yeah. To be honest, you don't have to email us. You can just go to the Contact Me page on the website and send us a message from there.
Or tweet us.
Or Facebook us. You can join the Facebook page. And join the community there.
You can.
We post stuff all the time on there, but all the blogs and stuff.
Yeah.
Most recent episodes. What else is there? Merch, if you want to get some merch. Not that it'll be delivered anytime soon, probably not.
Well, I don't know. The delivery boys seem to be out and about, so you know what? You might be able to get it.
Jay was telling me about how Amazon Prime's gone from 1-day delivery to 3-day. So,
well,
it's like wartime. It's like wartime.
Well,
we didn't even have Amazon Prime back then. We couldn't even get eggs.
Yeah,
you get powdered egg.
Yeah.
Fuck that
powdered egg.
Powdered egg. And you used to have to draw your nylons on with a fucking
I still do
with
that
an eye pencil.
Yeah,
I know. You do. And a bit of coffee on your legs.
Yeah, well, you got to look good, haven't you?
What a waste of coffee.
Oh, cheek.
So, just basically check out some of our older episodes. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Yeah,
we might try and do another quick little recording so we can throw some out next week. But we can't promise anything. It's getting late.
Yeah.
So there you go.
We're doing what we can.
Yay!
See how far we can
trying
go.
to keep a positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
And that's what you should do too.
Yeah. Very true.
Thank you for listening.
Yes.
And again, all your continued support. We'll be back as soon as possible for another episode of Never a Straight Answer. Peace.
Out.